Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Republique. So, without further ado, let's get into our commander. We're running Robert Gijard with Paolo de Revel and Andrew Cunningham as our inspirations. We have Flammable Cannoneer, Gyrating Drill Bits, Marksmanship, Reaching Out XXL, and Fight Fire with our perks. We are running Aiming Systems Mod 1, Steering Gears Mod 2, Concealment System Module, and we are running the Epic Main Battery Mod 3. So with all of that being said, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so we are going to be in the Republique on Sea of Fortune. And we're going to show you guys what happened in my very first game of the night. This was a refreshing change as of lately, because a lot of my games have been, a long time coming. But not this one. This is a one-and-done scenario where I'm like, you know what, I've played the Republique for a while. Let me just jump in and see what happens. And it did not disappoint. This ship is busted. Always has been. But it's one of those ships that I just don't play all that often. Playing at Tier 8 in general just isn't a lot of fun most of the time because you're kind of stuck in the middle. If you wanted to play, like, not Legendary Tier, you could go Tier 7. And you don't have to fight Legendary Tier. If you want to play Legendary Tier, you play Legendary Tier, and you know you're going to get in Legendary Tier anyway, so you might as well, right? So the Tier 8s are kind of in an awkward position, because they're not bad ships, most of them. It's just not good enough to really choose over anything else. If you've got the Legendary equivalent, why would you ever choose this? This is one of the few exceptions. I would rather play this than the Bourgogne. And I know there's a lot of people out there that hate me for that, and I don't understand why, because this is just arguably better than the Bourgogne. The Bourgogne is so inconsistent for me. Like, it is just so inconsistent. And that is my biggest issue with that ship. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that have a great time in that ship, and more power to you. But it just does not perform for me. Like, I have had so many times, like, to put it into perspective, a lot of people will bring up the fact, well, I think the biggest problem with Bourgogne is that people just don't understand how to use, anything smaller than 16-inch guns at Legendary Tiered. It's like, no, that's not the problem at all. If you remove yourself from your bias for just, oh my god, hello, Des Moines. Wait. Boop. Oh, you slowed down. Why couldn't you just maintain your speed like a potato? You'd be dead, and I'd be happy. But no, unfortunately not the case. But as he starts to speed up here, he is going to turn away from the island, and I thought these shells would get there much faster. This ship, one of the biggest advantages of this ship is these ridiculous guns are so good, but they're quicker than you think. So they catch a lot of people off guard. Like, these guns reload decently quick, but they also get to you faster than you'd expect out of the Battleship shell. A lot of Battleship shells have relatively low velocities, whereas this thing, it isn't the case. They're faster than you think, but slower than you want. Does that make sense? Like, a lot of times, look at that shot. That is a bow tanking gearing at 12.5 kilometers. We just put 4 rounds right through the bow of that thing. That's not bad when you're only shooting 8 rounds. That's 50% accuracy on a skinny target, right? At medium range. But anyway, I digress. As the Michelangelo starts pushing into the middle, we take a shot, blind firing at him. But we're not going to go barging straight out into the open on these guys, right? We're going to take our time. We're going to let the enemy make their mistakes. But anyway, back to my other statement that I was making. One of the things that I hear a lot is that people think that the Bourgogne's just, the reason that I struggle in a Bourgogne or other people struggle in a Bourgogne is because it has 15-inch guns, and that's not it. I've done well with 15-inch guns and even 14-inch guns at higher tiers, and as long as you get consistent penetrations, consistency out of the performance of those guns. But the problem is Bourgogne never has been consistent for me. It's been incredibly, inconsistent. Sometimes you'll get a broadside, you'll fire your guns, and the shells will go exactly where you want them, and you'll hit somebody, and nothing will happen. It's just like, what am I doing? Why am I playing this ship? Like, if I had any other battleship in that same situation, kablat! speaking of. but yeah, but the Burgon, it just doesn't like to do that sometimes. So you find yourself constantly switching back and forth between HE and AP, and then wishing you had the other ammo type. But the good news is, if you're running the other, what is it, Azure Lane Dunkirk, you get that extra skill that allows you to switch back and forth, which is great. But if you don't have that commander, then you're just going to be sad most of the time. Now, that being said, we are effectively obliterating this flank. It may not seem like it at this time, but we did lose our destroyer. Z52 got himself in trouble. Michelangelo's coming out around the corner, doesn't see this coming. Fortunately for us, we're going to smash him once again. Another 20k. You see how consistent these guns are? Like, every time I pulled the trigger, it's been consistent damage. And that's just going to continue being the thing. Now, I'm not going to lie, this Conqueror out here is being a pain in my neck. Usually, Conquerors firing AP aren't that big a deal, but when you're not focused on the Conqueror firing the AP, he is a big deal. And then we slapped that man for over 36,000 damage. You see what I'm saying? Like, we just absolutely smashed this man. And that's why I've always maintained the fact that I would rather play this ship than the Burgon any day of the week. This ship brings consistency. Consistent penetrations, consistent performance out of the main guns, and a consistent feel. It's a great ship. It should be legendary tier. The game developers decided that this was a tier 8 because they needed something at tier 8. So they're like, yeah, let's demote the Republic. Why not? This is a legendary tier ship. It just comes in the form of a tier 8. But anyway, I digress. Let's get back to it. I don't know if you guys have noticed, we've already put up 156,000 damage and completely controlled this side of the map. The only person we haven't controlled is the Conqueror, who we know is out here. The Des Moines went down because we sniped him on the backside of the island, took another citadel off of him, left him with just enough to get away. Michelangelo is starting to run away from us, and that's when the Conqueror decides to show himself. Now, as the Conqueror comes in, he's over-angled. We're not going to try to go for the belt. Just want penetrations. So we go for the superstructure, and we smash him. Now, one thing you have to balance with this particular ship is that it only has one gun at the bow, one gun at the stern. Which means you have to understand when is a good time, when is not a good time to use all of your guns. Now, the Conqueror, he gets 12 guns. I do not. I get 8. And I can only use those 8 if I give up my entire ship to be shot. These are not ideal circumstances. Now, you can see as he's going to commit to getting those rear guns. Now, we knew this was going to happen. So that's why we're waiting. As he opens the angle, I want to try to go through the cheek here. And we do smash him through the cheek. 6 out of 8 shells managing to hit the target and absolutely crushing him. And maintaining our angle so that the rear turrets don't get through. Now, he does get a couple of shots through with the front turrets. Not unexpected. But thankfully, this guy decides he doesn't want to ram. Now, this is the part where I've got to commit. Like, this guy has a lot of health left, but he is getting chunked by my teammates, so at this point, I just want him gone. So we're going to try to get the rear guns. We get the rear guns through, and then as soon as I get the front guns, we're able to take him down with 8 out of 8 shells. Now, at that range, 8 out of 8 shells should be what you hit. Like, I mean, you're literally throwing the ship. There's no missing at that range. Like, if these two ships saw each other in real life, neither of them are missing each other. Okay, at that range. It would be absurd to have anybody miss at that range. This is essentially spitting distance. You would have these two ships just rip each other apart with secondaries and, well, secondaries probably wouldn't rip each other apart because these ships are built to take much more than that. Obviously, these are both fictitious ships, but you get what I'm saying. At the ranges that we were at, hitting 8 out of 8 should not be surprising. But in the world of RNG, Lord have mercy. Now, we've pulled this side completely by ourselves, essentially. We had some help with the Z52 weakening the Elbing early on, and then our cruisers being able to help clean up the riffraff that we leave with just enough to get away. We personally killed both of their battleships on this flank, and we took a lot of the health off their cruisers and their destroyer in the gearing. So, we've done our part, right? We're not done yet. We still got our engine boost running. It may have taken forever to get this thing pointed back towards the enemy, but you can see I do want to go that direction. The enemy battleship is headed back towards us, and the enemy cruiser is heading away from us. So I have to choose. What was that? Like a frog got loose in my throat. I have to choose where I want to put myself to try to help the team again. Now, you can see we do have the Henri over here on the left. Our Des Moines has kind of pickled himself in between islands, which is probably keeping him from being torpedoed. But as long as we can get within 20 kilometers, we should be able to take a shot. So that is our goal. And you can see as the enemy battleship starts to push back this way, he will get spotted eventually. And when he does, we will be able to take a shot. Now, the person going to be spotting him is the Henri. If you're the Henri in this situation and you know that there's only one battleship left and it's an Awami, you should probably be a little bit more aggressive. Now, I understand not wanting to be, but you definitely don't want to find yourself broadside to said battleship, because bad things happen as you start seeing him start taking chunks of damage off him. Now, as we open up the angle, I get a little bit crazy sometimes wanting to hold my fire to get all my guns on target to release a full salvo, but this ship in particular is one of those where you're going to end up ripple firing a lot, where you fire the front guns and then turn and fire the rear guns. And the reason for that is just because of the gun placement, right? If you had your guns in a better position, you might be able to. And the rear turret's not in the worst firing angles. It's not Frederick de Grosse Kerfer's firing angles, but it's still awkward when you have to swing all the way out to get those guns on target. But I mean, we've proven it time and time again as we just land shell after shell. Now, that was only 2 shells that managed to hit that target there, but it was still very effective. 2 full penetrations as he's turning towards us. And then we get one more shot out as the San Luis is going to get some good hits into him, and we're going to be able to finish him off, getting our 3rd kill of the game. 226,000 damage in our first game of the night. Not too shabby. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with my assessment of the République? Do you guys enjoy the République more than the Bourgogne? Do you even have the République? Some people don't. But personally, I prefer this ship. And it's not because it's got bigger than 15-inch guns. It's because it's consistent, right? And that is always the thing that I value most out of my battleships. It's not that they got the biggest guns. It's not that they do this, or, you know, they have reload boosters and all these gimmicks. It's like, I can deal without that, right? I'm used to it. But I value consistency. When I pull the trigger and aim at somebody, I want those shells to more or less go where I aim them. And I want them to do what I expect them to do when they get there. Now, you can see here, I'm kind of trying to figure out where this cruiser is going to end up. But fortunately for me, it doesn't matter because he's dead. He did take out our cruiser, and our cruiser finishes him off as well. But 226,000 damage, high caliber, top of the leaderboard, 3,500 base XP, give or take. Not too shabby. Let me know what you guys think. If you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.